Okay guys, this is something that I've been wanting to do, and you guys have actually been asking me to do more fragrance videos or reviews on feminine or female targeted fragrances. Well, today I'm taking on one of my favorite niche houses, Parfums de Marly, and I'm going to rank to you my 5 favorite Parfums de Marly feminine fragrances. So if you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today we're covering Parfums de Marly, but not the men's fragrances. I do have a top 10 on the channel. Perhaps I should update that video, maybe make it a top 20, we shall see, and include feminine fragrances. But today it's all about the feminine fragrances, and these are probably ones you know about. These are some of the more popular ones, and I'm going to let you know what they are, ranked from my least favorite to my most favorite, although they're all great fragrances. But before we do all that, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So Parfums de Marly is a house that I discovered back in about 2013, and the very first fragrance I bought from this house is Herod, which actually was featured a couple days ago in my fall fragrances video from luxury houses or niche houses basically. So if you haven't caught that video, please do, as Herod is still one of my favorite fragrances from Parfums de Marly, and also happens to be one of my favorite classy tobacco fragrances. So please catch that video, but before you do that, finish watching this video. And again, today I'm ranking my 5 favorite Parfums de Marly feminine fragrances. And if you've been waiting for a video for me to do on feminine fragrances, this is the one for you to start. And it's a great way for you to discover some of the fragrances from this house that are targeted to the ladies. But you know, some of these are actually unisex enough for men to pull off. And if you like certain notes, like several of the fragrances, in fact, maybe all 4 out of the 5 are fruity fragrances, and then they lean into the fruity floral and oriental floral, things like that. So they're fresher fragrances, but then they get deep with some of the concentrations. But the first one we're going to start off with is Cassili, this one right here. And this is considered a oriental floral fragrance. And for me, this one ranked at the bottom out of the 5. And again, it's not anything bad with it. It's just, you know, I have my favorites, and number 1 is probably one that I have reviewed on the channel, a full review of a feminine fragrance from Parfums de Marly. But this one I never reviewed, and this one actually to me is focusing on plums with Frangipani. Frangipani is a tropical flower to me, but smells fantastic. But this one is a fruity floral to me. It's a fruity floral, but actually with some of the other notes, we can take it into that vanilla, you know, the oriental floral direction. But this is a 2019 launch. I don't find a perfumer listed for this one, sadly, so I can't tell you who it is. A 75 ml bottle is $320. And it features plums, frangipani, red currants, tonka beans, vanilla, floral notes, Petalia, mimosa, rose, and sandalwood. So in the end, it is kind of deeper and thicker experience, and that's because it is an oriental floral, and then it has things like tonka beans and vanilla, and then of course sandalwood in the notes as well to give it some depth. And I wouldn't call this a fresh floral fragrance because it does have the depth and the density, but some of the lighter notes like the fruits and there's the red currants in here, give it some freshness about it. But for me, it's not necessarily considered a fresh fragrance because it has all those dense notes. But in the end, it's a nice fragrance. It's fruity. It's definitely floral, and it definitely has oriental touches with the vanilla and tonka. But it does dry to that sandalwood note, so it does kind of get woody in the base. But if you're looking for a different take on Delina, I don't want to say this is like Delina. In fact, maybe it does have some very light similarities, and that's pretty much it. Then you might like this one. But for me, I feel like I love Delina, and this one kind of like tries to compete with Delina but doesn't get there. So hope that makes sense to you guys. It's just, I think maybe if I didn't smell this one after Delina, I might have enjoyed this one more than Delina, but I love Delina a lot. So this one kind of like takes the back seat. Anyway, Cassili is an oriental floral, and that's my number 5 fragrance from Parfums de Marly's Feminine Fragrances collection. So number 4 is one called Athalia, this one right here. So this is the only one here that doesn't go into the fruity direction. This one actually is considered a woody floral musk. And this came out in 2015, and the perfumer here is Alexandra KOSINKSI. 75 ml bottle is $320. In fact, all of these except for one is $320 for 75 ml. And this one features the notes of iris, musk, orange blossom. It features also orange as a note, the actual fruit, and a few other notes. I think there's also a little bit of an ambery touch in the base as well. So for me, this is a very powdery fragrance. It's very musky, and the powdery comes from the iris. There's some slight buttery touches as well. Most likely it's coming from that iris orris butter, the orris note, but you know what? It's kind of very airy. So there's a very airy quality about it, but it doesn't mean that it's a light fragrance, but it just has some airy, light, powdery touches, whereas, you know, it has the major component or note of iris orris in here with loads of musk. So in the end, it's definitely in a different direction. For me, I kind of associate Parfums de Marly feminine fragrances to be more fruity, and so this one definitely stands out as something completely different, because everything else I'm going to talk to you about today are fruity takes on fragrances, and this one just kind of seems like the odd man out with a different kind of a style or genre of a fragrance. But in the end, I actually really enjoy this one. I love the muskiness, I love the powderiness, and I just like that there's an ethereal quality to it. Kind of like angelic, just a very, very floaty kind of airy quality, because the powder, when I wear this fragrance, I just feel like there's something floating, which I guess associate with ghosts or things like that, but not necessarily. But it just has that kind of like ethereal quality, as I said, which I really like. And I love iris and fragrances. You've got to like powdery fragrances though, because this one definitely goes into the powdery direction. And that is Athalia, a woody floral musk from 2016, and that's number 4 from this house. Okay, so number 3 is another fruity fragrance. In fact, like I said, everything else is fruity or goes into the fruity direction, and they have fruits as notes in the fragrances. And this is Meliora, this one right here. So this one's really, really fresh and refreshing with the fruitiness. This is a 2013 launch. Seems like it's one of the earlier Parfums de Marly fragrances. And this is created by Nathalie LORSON. Those of you that are fans of her perfumes, you might like this one. But this is ultra fruity and ultra fresh. Features loads of red berries with blackcurrant and an additional cassis note as well. So there is some a green touch here. And whenever I see cassis pop up with blackcurrants, there might even be rose in here. I think there is rose. It kind of goes into that direction of something like Lombardon Low from the house of Diptyque, kind of you know, cassis and blackberries and currants or black currants and roses together. So it has a very green touch. The cassis note adds this greenness, but in here there's also musk and vanilla, and then there's some beautiful lily of the valley and ylang-ylang and rose. So it's a fruity floral fragrance for me. It's just all about fruits and flowers, and they work wonderfully together, because in the end, what are fruits before they become fruits? They're flowers, so I think they work wonderfully together. And I just love wearing this one. It is a feminine leaning, but because it's got these like fruits and flowers together, I think it makes it unisex enough for men to pull off as well, as long as you're comfortable wearing floral notes of you know, rose and ylang-ylang and lily of the valley, and then of course the fruity touches with red berries and black currants, and of course the green touch with the cassis. So if you have tried Lombardon Low from Diptyque and you want something very fruity and also something, you know, floral, you should definitely try this one, especially since Rouge Trafalgar from Christian Dior Maison Christian Dior collection kind of sort of smells similar to this, and I feel like if that's unisex targeted, even something like Bottega Veneta Melagrana is unisex targeted, you should be able to pull this up even though it's in a feminine bottle from the house of Parfums de Marly. Anyway, this is a great scent. It's fruity, it's floral, it's juicy. There's lots of juiciness in here from the fruits, and just a great fresh fruity floral fragrance that you can pull off all year round, but I feel like this one is perfect for warmer days. Anyway, that's Meliora. Came out in 2013, created by Nathalie LORSON from the house of Parfums de Marly. So at number 2, it's Delina Exclusif. So This one is at number 2, so can you guess what my number 1 is? So the reason this one is here is because it's a more denser, deeper version of the original Delina. So this has Turkish rose. Well, I should first say this is a 2018 launch. It's created by BISCH. He's a very well-known up-and-coming perfumer from Givaudan, and this is the only one that's a different price than everything else. It's just $20 more for a 75 ml bottle, so it's $340 compared to everything else I'm talking to you about. It's $320 for 75 ml. So this one features Turkish rose, vanilla, lychee fruit, oud, pear, incense, and musk. So when you compare this to the original Delina, there's a lot more depth here, and it's got more depth and density to the fragrance. And I feel like the oud and the vanilla, even though the original Delina has vanilla, it's not as strong as it's here. So when they have the amped up vanilla in here and also some oud, there's a major depth to it. It's a stronger concentration, and then it's a richer concentration as well, whereas the fruits are toned down in comparison to the original, where the fruits are more excessive. So in the end, I feel like if you have Delina and you've wanted something stronger, even though I feel like Delina is definitely a pretty potent concoction, this one actually would do it for you. And if you're wearing Delina mostly in the spring and summer and maybe in fall, this Delina Exclusive is probably one you could pull off in the winter time when it gets you know, cold outside, and you know, you want something a little stronger, which this definitely is. So this is at number 2 though, and can you guess what my number 1 is? It's definitely Delina, the original version, because I really love the fruitiness of that one. But this Delina Exclusive is at number 2. It's considered an Oriental floral, and the reason it's an Oriental floral is because, you know, it has that vanilla note that's pretty amped up. And this is a 2018 launch created by BISCH. So that's number 2. And as I mentioned, my number 1 is the original Delina, this one right here. And I actually have a full review of this one with another YouTube reviewer, if you want to go check it out. And what I like about this one is just a very fun, happy, uplifting, fruity floral fragrance. I guess it kind of sort of goes into the Oriental direction because it does have a vanilla note, but the vanilla note in here is not so potent. But what's really potent in here is the Turkish rose, lychee fruit, rhubarb, vanilla, musk, cashmere wood, peony, lily of the valley. So in the end, you have loads of fruits in here and loads of flowers. Again, this is also created by BISCH. He created this one in 2017 and the Exclusive in 2018, 75 ml, 320. But it's a fun fragrance. It's playful, it's fruity, it's just a very, very happy, relaxed, cozy fragrance because all the notes work wonderfully together, and it just feels comforting and cozy when I wear this stuff because, you know, fruits and vanilla together with all the flowers, it's just a very, very happy concoction, and I enjoy the smell of. Anyway, this definitely is leaning feminine, but again, I think if you compare both of these fragrances, you might think this one's a little more masculine than this one, because even though I feel like they're sort of similar offsprings of one another, or from similar parents, I feel like this one definitely goes a little more woody and a little more vanillic and less fruity floral. But here, it's definitely more floral and fruity, so you have those notes really, really amped up, but it does settle down to that cashmere wood, which is a little musky, woody, ambery. Anyway, that's my favorite. It is a great, delicious fragrance. The fruits just really like almost like mouth-watering when you smell them. Just kind of like, I can almost taste them, and it's a great smell, and one that I like to wear when it's really warm outside, because that particular fragrance is perfect when it's warm out, because, you know, it has depth to it, it has density, and it has some concentration and heft. So even though it might be really warm outside, it has great, great longevity. Anyway, those are my favorite Parfums de Marly feminine fragrances, and ones that I wanted to tell you about. Let me know what you think about these fragrances. Have you tried them, and are you a fan of this house, Parfums de Marly? Let me know, put some comments down so I can find out. And if you had to rank this list, these 5 fragrances, how would you rank them? Please put a comment down and put your ranking so I can find out how you would rank them. Perhaps it's different than me, perhaps it's similar to me, but either way, I'd love to find out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.